Hey folks, how's it going? Chris here from One Extra Games and Collectibles. An absolute pleasure to have you with me here on the channel. And today's video is going to be all about San Diego Comic-Con excitement. That's right, we're just a day away. Is it kicking off tomorrow or is it Thursday? Anyway, it's imminent. It's right upon us. And despite the fact that I am unable to afford to travel out to San Diego from my humble home here in Manchester in the United Kingdom, I do like to keep an eye on what's going on and live vicariously through the experience of others. And I have been prowling all the hashtag SDCC 2024 tagged posts on Instagram, Twitter, on Facebook, just gathering information everywhere I can to see what kind of G.I. Joe stuff is going to be taking place at San Diego Comic-Con this year. So come join me as I take you through a little tour of everything I've managed to root out that's happening. Obviously, if you're going, then heads up around some of the stuff, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, that might be taking place. If you're not going, then this is the heads up to get your mate who is going to sort you out. Or some of the bits and bobs are going to be having limited quantity releases outside of SDCC. And so it's a heads up on that. So lots of heads upping going on. All right, well, let's get into it. I'm going to switch to the news screen and walk you through some pictures of some things I've found. All right, let's talk G.I. Joe SDCC. Okay, folks, I'm going to get us started with some action figure stuff in the G.I. Joe realm at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and I'm going to kick it off by sharing this bad boy with you. Check out this Mezco 112 Collective Snake Eyes, the Commando edition. This looks like an absolute beast of a figure. I know that the Mezcos are very, very popular. I know the Roadblock, for example, was reviewed positively, rather favourably, when that bad boy came out. But it's the standard 112 Collective book, so it's the 32 points of articulation. It's loaded up with accessories. I mean, an outrageous amount of accessories included with this figure, the least of which, obviously, is the soft goods outfit that looks really amazing on him. But we've got a wealth of hand swaps, the Mezco stand with the G.I. Joe symbol on the bottom of it, pistols, rifles, submachine guns, little Tech 9 kind of machine gunny things, daggers, claws, knives, firing effects, a little satchel for carrying his crap around in, just loads of accessories included with this, what is frankly quite an incredible looking figure. So the Mezco stuff, I'm not as familiar with it. It's a bit too pricey for my budget area. This is being advertised at $112. It is available on their website. They say that there's a wait list with limited quantities being made available after the convention. But it also says, and I quote, "Come visit us at San Diego Comic-Con for another chance to purchase this exclusive." And their booth is 3,145 at the event. So I'm sure you'll agree, very sexy, very exciting looking Snake Eyes figure there. If you've got the money to burn, then this could be something that you want to go and try and get yourself in the queue for. But for those of you who can't make the event, I will pop a link in the description down below to Mezco's site where you can join the waitlist. Okay, folks, well, next on the list, we have Super 7 there at the event. They're bringing quite a wide array of exclusive figures and things to take a look at the convention itself. They call it the Super 7 Con All-Stars, and included in that wide array, there is a selection of G.I. Joe goodies that are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. First on the list, we've got the, checking notes, the Reaction Ashcan Black and White Snake Eyes, which is based on the black and white version of the famous cover with Snake Eyes abseiling down the side of a building with loads of gunfire shooting off around him. This looks all right. It's not me. It's not my pace at all. I'm Cult of the New. I want all the points of articulation, but the figure comes blistered on a card back with the exclusive Ashcan black and white artwork on the back of it. Then you've got the figure itself in the white colour scheme with two accessories, his Uzi and his sword. I couldn't find any information on price, but I'm going to assume that it's going to be relatively similar to the standard Reaction price tag, maybe a slightly inflated as an exclusive, but that's going to be available there. They've then also got a couple of G.I. Joes hanging out in the Ultimates range, the 7-inch scale figures. First on the list here is the Jungle Trap Zartan, which comes in this really funky, exciting box, loaded up with all sorts of cool accessories in that Sunbow cartoon aesthetic, including some various kind of nods at the Sunbow episode itself, the Jungle Trap episode, such as the spy cobra coming out of the basket, for example, and the little vuvuzela kind of communication tool thing. So that's really awesome for cartoon fans. Also got the big cloak on him there, so that you can deck him out and have him on display to look like, you know, standard cartoon Zartan, or you can put the cloak on and make it episode specific, which is really fun. This is listed as debuting at San Diego Comic-Con. Again, couldn't find any price information, but I'm going to roughly assume that you're looking at your kind of standard 7-inch Super 7 Ultimates kind of price tag on that. Again, possibly a little bit inflated because it is a convention exclusive. And then finally, Super 7, well, not finally in the action figures, sorry, but then finally in the action figure space with Super 7, they've got the Cobra Mortal, based on the vintage Argentinian figure from the G.I. Joe range. This, again, has got a wealth of accessories, interchangeable hands, a crossbow, a sniper rifle, and stuff, which looks really super fun and exciting. Not a character I'm hugely familiar with, but maybe some folks out there know the lore, know the history, for a kind of Cobra assassin kind of dude. His outfit doesn't look particularly subtle, not great for subterfuge, but what do I know? You know what I mean? But again, decked out in a lovely little collector's box with some interesting artwork there. The figure itself is standard Ultimates kind of stuff going on. And again, I'm going to assume we're looking at a rough kind of price tag in the same ballpark as the Ultimates usually are. Again, listed as debuting at San Diego Comic-Con. And all of those on their website are listed as having limited quantities being made available on their website from July the 29th. So that's the action figure stuff, but Super 7 aren't just bringing some G.I. Joe action figure excitement to the SDCC event. They've also got some apparel, folks, some clothing, and included within that clothing selection we have this really super cool selection of G.I. Joe Real American Hero t-shirts. It looks like we've got one there with the Snake Eyes cover, the abseiling cover that I mentioned before, and then one there with a kind of an OG 13 look Duke, popping some shots off in the direction of Cobra. So yeah, if you want a nice little bit of Super 7 apparel. Now this is where I definitely do lean into Super 7. I like some of their accessory stuff. I was very disappointed not to be able to get my hands on some of their trading cards from last year. But yeah, in addition to the action figures, they're bringing a bit of clothing, a bit of apparel for us G.I. Joe fans. That's very exciting, isn't it? So head on over to their booth at the event. They are at 2543, according to the guide. And or get yourself on their website from the 29th of July to pick up one of those limited quantity items. And of course, folks, we can't talk about G.I. Joe action figure excitement for SDCC without talking about, of course, G.I. Joe Classified series from Hasbro. They've obviously got the Once a Man Cobra Commander San Diego Comic-Con exclusive available for sale on the day. It's through that daft lottery system, going for $39.99, and you've got to do that whole thing where you've got to request a slot through the San Diego Comic-Con portal and all that. You may have missed the boat, in fact, by the time I've finished recording and editing this video to get in the queue on that. But yeah, Once a Man CoCo is the exclusive. I've already done quite a bit of conversation on that in a recent live stream, so I'll link to the live stream down below. But definitely proving from what I'm hearing around the community and some of the places that I hang out virtually that this is an head turner, caught a lot of people's eyes. Folks are very excited to see this figure available. So we've seen the exclusive. I'll also put a link to the original IGN article that announced it initially. But then also there is a classified panel taking place in the San Diego Comic-Con panel schedule. This is going to be taking place on the Thursday night at the event. That's July the 25th, kicking off at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And the description states that they're going to be doing a live launch of the new classified series HasLab. then a little behind-the-scenes look at new featured products, never before heard stories, that's a curious one, some digital character renders, some in-hand figure prototypes, some pre-order launches, and more. So there's going to be lots of G.I. Joe Classified-related excitement coming off the back of San Diego Comic-Con. Now, there is also a G.I. Joe Classified fan stream taking place on the 25th, also listed as 11 a.m. Eastern time, just to make things all the more complicated for folks trying to keep a track of this stuff. And that also says there's going to be product reveals, pre-orders, and more. So there's some speculation and some reasonably safe assumption that the fan stream taking place is going to be mirroring the information that it will be released at the panel at San Diego Comic-Con. But who knows? There may be some difference between the two. There could possibly be a few extra, more exciting bits and bobs at the San Diego Comic-Con panel. So we know Once a Man CoCo is going to be there as the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but then also keep an eye out for information from the fan stream and then subsequently the panel, the least of which is going to be the HasLab information that we've all been eagerly waiting for. So lots of exciting stuff for G.I. Joe Classified series fans. So that's all the action figure stuff, but I've got a little bit of merchandise to show you, then I'll talk a little bit about comic book stuff as well. And on the merchandise front, this caught my eye the other day, floating around on Instagram. Again, I'll put a link directly to it, to Monogram Collectibles Instagram page, where I saw this advertised with the hashtag SDCC 2024 tag on it going on. This is a 60th anniversary G.I. Joe Deluxe gift set, which includes a lanyard, a little bag clip, keyring type thing with Duke on it, like a squishy, cute little Duke, some enamel pins, and it comes in like this little collector's box set as well. The pins look really cool. It's got a Duke, it's got a Snake Eyes and Timber, and then a little 60th anniversary pin as well with the years 84 to 2024 on there too, which I think is, if anything, that's the bit that would attract me out the whole package. You know, something with a date on it like that. Commemorative in that nature is exciting to me, but you know, they're limited numbers, limited to just 500 sets, so it's hugely unlikely I'll get my hands on one. $40 to pick one up, and you want to go visit them at their booth, but I have let you down, folks, because I've misplaced the booth number. Nothing if not informative here on Extra Games and Collectibles, folks. But it's Monogram Collectibles. That's who you want for this funky little gift set. The bag clip's fine, whatever. The lanyard's fine. That's kind of cute and nice. But the enamel pins look really sweet. Although $40 is pretty steep, but I suppose if it's limited edition with only 500, then they're justifying the increased price with the exclusivity, maybe. I don't know. But there you go. There's just a little something else G.I. Joe related I happened across in my trawling of the socials. Okay, well, Skybound Comics are going to be heavily present across the convention. They've got loads of stuff going on, ladies and gents. Very exciting. They have a panel in the first instance. That's the first thing I'll point out. An Energon Universe panel that's taking place on Friday the 26th at 4:30 Pacific time. From the G.I. Joe perspective, that panel is going to include Joshua Williamson, who was involved with Duke and Cobra Commander, and Tom Riley, who's involved with Duke, but also Robert Kirkman will be there, who's like the big man, the top man at Skybound. But there's also Transformers and Void Rivals conversation taking place there. What that might include, whether there'll be spoilers, reveals, information about upcoming titles in the Energon universe, and information about G.I. Joe titles specifically, and that, who knows what's coming, but I'll definitely be keeping my eye out for further information there, because I've really been enjoying the G.I. Joe titles in the Skybound universe for now. So they've got the panel going on. There's also some signings, and of particular interest to G.I. Joe fans. The signings that folks might want to find their way over to is Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley in the signing schedule over at the Image Comics booth between 3 and 4 on the 25th. But that's not all. I've seen out and about on the socials some folks talking about some exclusive art covers being made available at San Diego Comic-Con. Let's have a quick peek at those, shall we? So first up, we've got the Destro Issue 1 exclusive. This is from Diamond Select, with only 1,000 copies of these being made available. It's not very clear from the post as to who the retailer is, and I got to admit it's a bit bland as the the black and white colour version of the standard over-the-counter cover that you could get in your friendly local comic book shop there. But it's limited to 1,000 copies, so if you're into collecting exclusive limited edition covers, this could be of interest to you. But that's not all. So Dave Dorman, through the More Great Art collaboration company, art seller people, has got some Destro and Scarlet exclusive covers being made available at San Diego Comic-Con as well. These look really sweet. I'll obviously edit them to be shown on screen as I'm talking about them. This tremendous kind of painted artwork. I'm particularly keen on the Scarlet one. I just think that looks absolutely amazing. These are both limited to 500 copies each. They're being advertised at $25. And from what I understand, these are going to be sold by Big Clutch Comics on their booth. I want to say Big Clutch Comics or Big Clutch, whoever they are, with a eBay live stream thing going on. So you can get hold of them through the booth, the Big Clutch booth at 1101. That's the booth number there. Through eBay Live, through eBay Buy Online, but then it also says you have to pick it up at the eBay studio that's there at San Diego Comic-Con, or eBay Buy It Now. But with 500 copies, limited to 500 copies, I don't imagine there'll be any... I'm not sure we can access that outside of San Diego Comic-Con, folks. But if you are familiar with how this eBay Live San Diego Comic-Con auction thing works with the eBay studio on site there at the convention, then please do drop into the comments down below and educate me, because I got a bit confused when I was doing my research. But I've still put it in today's video so that we can draw over that tremendous artwork. Big props to Dave Dorman. They look sweet as fuck, man. Then over at the KRS Comics stand, there is a Real American Hero issue 308 variant available with exclusive artwork by Sozo Micah. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Limited to 300 copies. An excellent, really lovely shot of the Baroness there, just doing the absolute top of the toppermost in femme fatale, sexy femme fatale poses there. Really lovely piece of work. $20. Have I said that already? Limited to 300. Did I say that already? I don't know. I'll repeat it again. But KRS are at booth number 3835. And again, for those at the event, you might want to swing by and try and pick yourself one up. For those of us who can't make it and will never see one of these in hand in our lifetime, let's just take a moment's pause to once again appreciate the absolute awesome artwork by Sozo Micah there. And then finally in the comic book space, I'm sure this isn't the full extent of it, but I was just cruising around again, prowling the hashtag SDCC24 follow that I do on Instagram, happened across this tremendous selection of artwork, this tremendous selection of variant covers by a fine gentleman called Jeff Pina, and in amongst the collection of covers there with his custom artwork, there was a Cobra Commander issue in there. I think there is just one available for sale, just one of each of these. I think there is just one of these for sale, one of these available. There was no price listed, or at least not one that, once again, I failed to write down on my little outline for this video. So please go follow up, but I'll, again, make sure there's an Instagram link to Jeff Pina's Instagram page, so you can go take a look and see if there's been any further information since I prepped this video. But again, look at the artwork on that. That Transformer, in fact, all of them look sweet, don't they? I know I'm talking G.I. Joe specifically on this vid today, but that Transformers one is shit hot as well. Just these... Oh, man, I'm so jealous all the time of these incredible artists. I can barely pull together a stick figure, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm in the weeds. So there we go then, folks. Hopefully that was interesting to you. Obviously, if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, then that information may be super useful, although I would recommend using the links that I put in the description down below to double-check all the info that I provided today, because even with stuff that is actually publicly out there, I'm an unreliable source, because apparently I can't make good notes. So double-check everything and make sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed off the back of the info I've provided today with regards to availability and where to go to pick things up and what have you. And of course, if you can't go to San Diego Comic-Con, then maybe some of the stuff that's going to be available in limited quantities after the event has caught your eye today. Again, I'll make sure there's links in the description down below. Or you just, like me, just want to take an interest and like the comic book artwork, I'm just a fan and just love seeing that sort of stuff, and I think it looks really excellent. So yeah, that's it. If you are going to San Diego Comic-Con, I hope you have a great time. Enjoy it. If you're not, then come join us on Thursday night for the G.I. Joe Classified Series fan stream, post-fan stream reaction with me and Connor. But otherwise, thanks for coming and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great rest of the week, folks. I hope you're all well and good, and come back round for another video in these parts sometime soon. All right. Yeah, I'm doing that thing where I can't finish the video properly, so I'll just say, ta-ra now.